Funding provided by Musco Lighting, the sports lighting specialist, providing lighting systems for you, your project, and your community.
The Pella Rolscreen Foundation is a proud supporter of Iowa PBS. Pella Windows and Doors strives to better our communities and build a better tomorrow.
And by Fareway Meat and Grocery. For more than 80 years, Fareway has been proud to be an active part of the communities we serve. Learn more at fairway.com.
With our Iowa roots and Midwestern values, Farmers Mutual Hail is committed to offering innovative farm insurance for America's farmers, just as we have for 6 generations. Farmers Mutual Hail, America's crop insurance company.
What started as a bet has become a long tradition between Iowa and Minnesota, and this is a good tradition too. It's state softball. We have 3 games, a triple header to crown the best in Class 3A, 2A, and 1A. From Fort Dodge, it's number 1 Williamsburg and number 2 Davenport Assumption here on this glorious Friday afternoon on the north side of Fort Dodge. Along with Laura Leonard, I'm Paul Yeager. Glad to have you here for this game. Laura, these are 2 teams that hit the ball well, but they also do something pretty well, and that's pitching. How do they get it done?
Well, I'll tell you, these 2 pitchers, Leo Morrow and Peyton Driscoll, number 1, number 2 in 3A as far as ERA is concerned. But if you look at the rest of their lines, the number of hits they get up are very similar. Number of batters that they walk, very similar. Opponent's batting average, very similar. So that's what we're going to see. We're going to see 2 really locked down pitchers here today. And as a matter of fact, here in the tournament, Morrow has struck out 15, Driscoll 22. Both of them have only walked 2.
Neither of these teams are strangers to Harlan Rogers Complex. In fact, Davenport Assumption, they are on their 8th trip to state, 13th overall, 8 consecutive times. They've been led by Jesse Wardlow with batting. Look at those stats. And you mentioned Leo Morrow, the pitcher for Assumption. For Williamsburg, you're going to see a very similar theme. These 2 teams, not only are they the some colors, but they also have similar DNA. 4th straight trip, 6th overall. El Ridgeway, huge at the plate. And Peyton Driscoll, there's a look at her stats. The one that stands out to you, Laura, the most, I would guess the strikeouts?
Well, the strikeouts do, but you know the other thing, we're talking about pitching. I think speed is going to play a part in this ball game. We've seen both of these teams put down a lot of bunts and use their base runners very, very well.
And now it's time to meet the teams. Let's go upstairs to public address.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, softball fans, and welcome to Rogers Sports Complex and this 3A championship game between the visiting team from Davenport, the Assumption Catholic Knights, and the home team, the Williamsburg Raiders. Now let's meet the teams. First of all, non-starters and assistant coaches. First of all, for the visitors from Assumption Catholic. Number 1, Madison Edwards. Number 3, Allie Kessel. Number 8, Mercedes Rangel. Number 9, Ava Poston. Number 12, Aaron Robbins. Number 17, Molly Rowe. Number 18, Molly Riley. Number 31, Sophia Hillebrand. Number 36, Lexi Pilgrim. And number 37, Sophie Miller. Your assistant coaches, Allie Timmons, Sydney Rowe, and Zach Murphy. And now, here's your starting lineup for the Assumption Catholic Knights. Leading off, playing center field, number 2, Jesse Wardlow. Batting second at shortstop, number 10, Izzy Krogman. Batting third at first base, number 32, Helen Sons. Cleanup hitter for the Knights, doing the catching, number 7, Charlotte Nidji. Batting fifth in right field, number 13, Abby O'Dean. Batting 6th at third base, number 28, Callie Miller. Batting 7th in left field, number 27, Marissa Boynton. Batting 8th, doing the pitching, number 11, Leah Morrow. And batting in the 9th position, designated player number 15, Catherine Snyder. Your flex player at second base, number 20, Bella Stoffridgen. Head coach for the Knights, Tyler Edwards. Now, let's meet the home team. From Williamsburg, here are your non-starters. Number 1, Maya Simmons. Number 2, London Cook. Number 5, Callan Spratt. Number 9, Sloan Curtin. Number 12, Taylor Sanchez. Number 14, Ashlyn Furman. Number 15, Ava Hooker. And number 17, Jersey Metz. Your assistant coaches, Jacob Hollov, Carly Campbell, and Gwen Mays. Now, here's your starting lineup. For the Raiders of Williamsburg, leading off, playing center field, number 13, Shannon Finn. Batting second at shortstop, number 3, Carly Rich. Batting third, playing first base, number 42, Elle Ridgway. Cleanup hitter for the Raiders, doing the catching, number 20, Jenna Thurm. Batting fifth, in left field, number 6, Allie Gorsh. Batting sixth, the designated player, number 8, Taylor Pitlick. Batting seventh, doing the pitching, number 16, Peyton Driscoll. Batting eighth at third base, number 11, McKenna Hughes. Batting in the 9th position at second base, number 4, Riley Metz. And your flex player in right field, number 7, Bailey Von Assen. Head coach for the Raiders, Adam C. Bertie. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please turn your attention to our home plate area. The umpires assigned to this contest by the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. At first base, Dwayne Duncan. At third base, Mark Schaefer. And calling the balls and strikes today, Mr. Daryl Erickson. All right, who's ready to win a state championship?
You've met the teams. Now let's see where they play in the field. For Williamsburg, who will be the home team, that means they'll play defense first. Gorsh, Finn, and Van Assen left to right. On the infield, it's Hughes at third, Rich at short, Metz at second, and Ridgway at first. Your battery is Jenna Thurm, and she'll receive from Peyton Driscoll. As we get a look at Peyton Driscoll in the circle, Laura Leonard, she's someone we have seen pitch a lot of times here. This year, 18-3, an ERA below 1. Of those stats, which one stands out the most to you?
You know, we talked a little bit about it, the strikeouts. So she's been very good at locating all of her pitches. She's been making these hitters miss. She's done it all season. The regional final, 900th career strikeout. So she's piling them up.
And this is a tough lineup to try to strike out. Jessie Wardlow, Izzy Krogman, Helen Sons, Charlotte Nidji, Abby O'Dean, Callie Miller, Marissa Boynton, Leah Morrow, and Catherine Snyder. There's a couple of these players, Laura, for Assumption. This is their 15th state tournament game, Izzy Krogman being one of them. Think about that. And these teams know what to do, and there are some keys to the game. What are they?
Yeah, Davenport Assumption wants to speed them up. We talked a little bit about the speed game, the bunt game. We're going to see that a lot from both teams. Make them make the mistakes and then come out hot. You want to get on the board first in these state championship games, and they're going to look to do that. Best way to do that is get that leadoff runner on, set the table. 84 degrees. The sky is mostly blue, a few clouds here and there. 2:38, and for Williamsburg. Well, they need to bunt until the opponent stops it, and they have done that all tournament long, all season long, and they need to get ahead in the count, and as we say that, Driscoll does that, gets ahead, throws a first pitch strike. At 2:38 on Friday, July the 21st, 2023, in the Class 3A state championship game from Fort Dodge. And quickly, Wardlow is down 0-2 from Driscoll. There's a look at Wardlow's stats. 455 as a hitter, 21 RBIs. The thing that she does is get on base and score a lot of runs. They kind of ride her momentum. And she is a true table setter, and when she gets on, they are able to move her around. And more often than not, when she gets on, she's going to come around to score. They know how to advance runners. They're very good fundamentally.
From the left side, what she's trying to do, that defense is drawn in at every corner. That one is slapped back at the pitcher. Driscoll fields over to Ridgway, and the first down of the game is recorded.
It's really hard when you have a defense kind of jammed in like that to try to find an angle, to try to be able to shoot it through, and that's why the defenses do that. And usually Wardlow does a good job of reading the defenses, but it's hard to make that adjustment when you have a pitcher like Driscoll in the circle coming at you with a lot of different stuff.
The first pitch to Izzy Krogman is a strike. This is the 4th championship game Izzy Krogman has played in. She played as an 8th grader. And she bats with 1 out here in the first. This is her final softball game. The pitch is hit towards short, over to Ridgway from Rich. Out number 2. And Krogman, oh, she was just thought it was close. I thought maybe there was an injury there, and she'll head into the dugout.
It was very, very close. She hustled down the line. It was a slow roller, and it was bang, bang.
Well, you give a listen as opposed to let your eye tell that if you're the umpire. There, that's Dwayne Duncan at first. First pitch to Helen Sons is a ball. Sons does her own damage at the plate. 420 hitter, 37 RBIs, usually because Wardlow and Krogman are on base in front of her. She bats here with the bases empty in the top of the first. Swung on, put in the play to second. Metz over to Ridgway. The Knights go 1-2-3. Ball doesn't leave the infield. Quick work by Peyton Driscoll.
Now that's what you want to do. Come out and mow them down 1-2-3. Give your team a little momentum heading into your first at bat.
And there's a look at the fans from Williamsburg, and this is who they are. This is Assumption's defense first. Odine is in right, Wardlow in center, and Marissa Boynton in left. Helen Sons at first, Bella Stoffregan at second, Isabella Krogman there at short, and Callie Miller at third. Charlotte Nidji behind the plate, and she'll be thrown to by Leah Morrow as we get a look at her in the circle. And you like Leah Morrow.
Yeah, she throws a lot of different things, and I think as you have watched Davenport Assumption through the years, rise ball is their thing. They are taught that. They all throw it very well, and she is a good rise ball pitcher, and she will mix her pitches.
Leah pitched last year in the state championship game, and this is the lineup she'll face for Williamsburg. Shannon Finn, Carly Rich, then Elle Ridgway, Jenna Thurm in the 4th spot, Gorsh, Pitlick, Driscoll, Hughes, and Metz to bat for Coach Adam Birdie. The dean of the coaches that we'll see today, his 7th season. We have Tyler Edwards, a debut coach for Assumption. We got a couple of 2s and 3s throughout the day, Laura. Hard to say 7 years as the veteran, but that's what Adam Birdie is.
Well, he has, and he's really built up this program for Williamsburg. It's kind of caught fire since he's come over, and they seem to come to the state tournament almost every season.
First pitch to Shannon Finn is low. Finn will bat from that left side of the batter's box. And these teams set up as that ball goes out of the zone again, 2-0. Set up very similarly in their lineups, both with very fast leadoff slappers from the left side. Finn, the 2-0, is now a 3-0 count.
You can see the adjustment for the Assumption defense maybe isn't as aggressive as we saw it with Williamsburg, really closing in on that leadoff hitter. And then number 1 spot is a slapper up there. A few more options, a few more angles.
4-pitch walk to Shannon Finn. And Finn's aboard. First base runner of the game. Finn on the season, 28 stolen bases. So look for her to be moving. And we'll see what Charlotte Nidji can do if she takes off. That'll bring in Carly Rich. That pitch comes back in on the plate. Nice movement from right to left as we sit behind the plate. There's a look at Morrow.
Well, and Finn, you have to believe, is going to be on the move very soon. She does hold a season single record.
And she's going to get in easily as the ball gets away from Niji. Down to second is Finn. She was going, as you said, Laura, just almost on cue.
Well, she does hold a single season record in stolen bases. See, I was saying it so fast, like I was running the bases with her. But she also is a career stolen base leader at the school and continues to add to it here in this ball game.
And that's a ball to Rich. So now it's a 2-ball, 1-strike count. And if you're Coach Birdie, he's still looking to advance that runner. He knows how precious base runners and runs are. The bunt, the pitch is high from Morrow, almost trying to dare Rich to put the bat up and get a strike. It is now 3-1.
Well, you see the hitter square around like that. You do want to throw the ball up in the zone, try to get him to pop up, but just kind of overthrew that one a little bit too much. Feel like Morrow has some nerves.
Popped up on the infield, caught in foul territory by Niji. Almost worst case scenario. The only thing worse is if Finn would have been doubled off. That ball goes straight up. First out of the inning brings in El Ridgway.
You know, we talked to Coach Birdie and we were marveling at the way they handle the bat and how they lay the bunts down. And he said, gosh, we just felt like for 4 years, our bunting was horrible. And it's taken this amount of time for everything to just kind of click in. He said, we haven't done anything different. We haven't changed any drills.
Ridgway was not bunting on that. Holy cow.
No way.
That, I think, ended up on the runway over across the street at the airport. Foul. Long foul.
But that, I think that goes back to telling you what practice does. Practice makes perfect, and they have finally gotten into a rhythm where they handle the bat and know how to get that bunt down, and it's won them several ball games heading into regional play and then here at the tournament.
Boy, Morrow thought she hit her spot on the outside part of that plate. Didn't get the call. The 1-2 now to Ridgway. Swung on and missed, pulls the string on the changeup. Wow, what a pitch. 2 away. And the leadoff runner stays at second as Ridgway whispers to Thurm a couple of things and lets Jenna Thurm. Wow, yep, she got out in front of that one.
Yeah, and had a little word for Gorsh as well in the on-deck circle, and so that's a gutsy pitch right there. You've got a hitter that's a power hitter, just launched one foul, and then you know she's aggressive. She wants to knock that runner in, so you throw her a little off speed and get her out on that front foot.
We'll see a similar pitch in the 1A game tonight when it comes to a changeup that is really slow from Flanagan in the North Lynn Martinsdale St. Mary's game, which is later tonight.
I think all these pitchers have developed really good velocity, and whatever pitch is their best pitch.
Ground ball's through. They're going to wave in Finn. Here comes the throw. It's up the line, not in time. Williamsburg scores first on a 2-out RBI double for Jenna Thurm.
Well,
here it is again, Laura.
Able to get that runner down to second and then get that key base hit. As you see Finn, and they weren't going to slow her down. She was coming around third base. She had her head down, and they were sending her the entire time.
Yeah, Coach Birdie almost tore a rotator cuff waving her home that way. And I think we're going to see Ava Hooker run in. And we are, so Ava Hooker. As Jenna Thurm is mobbed on her way into the dugout. She gets the run home.
15, courtesy for the catcher, 15.
Oh, you're the home team. You had that momentum, getting that 1-2-3 top of the first, knowing that you wanted to strike first when you had your chance at bat, and they were able to manufacture that run. They got the runner down to second, and they are solid, top to bottom, 1 through 9. They all can handle the bat very well. And that placement for Thurm was just perfect, right in between short and third.
Allie Gorsh now to bat, the left fielding sophomore. That pitch is strike 2. They throw back down to second, trying to get Hooker. Great play there by Niji. Stoffragan covering at the bag. And Niji trying to catch the runner.
Well, Hooker's aggressive. She's aggressive on the base paths. She had 3 stolen bases in the semis.
Fouled off behind, and we'll do it again at 0-2.
Can I see that one? Hold on. Can I see it? Can I see it real quick? Since it went off the end of the bat.
As you hear your home plate umpire Daryl Erickson asked to see that ball just to make sure it doesn't have any scuffs on it. And they'll throw it back to Morrow. The Raiders trying to get another run in. They've scored once with 2 out. What can they do now with Allie Gorsh? That pitch misses.
So you go back as Elle Ridgway struck out, but she went back and talked to the next 2 hitters and said, here's what I saw, here was the sequence. Take a look at that. You have to believe that that might have helped Thurm a little bit in her plate appearance.
Popped up into the net, but just short for Niji. Communication happens a lot, especially if somebody's been up there for a number of pitches. Laura, you talked about that pitch that Ridgway ripped foul and then sees the change up, and you know, those are 2 very different things, and maybe she picked up a tell. That one misses as well. 2-2.
Boy, and that just missed. We're sitting right here behind home plate, and it's just about an inch outside on that outside corner. And Niji tried to frame it, bring it back in.
Off the hands, is going to drop behind the pitcher's circle. Run is going to come home and score on an infield hit that didn't make it farther than 60 feet. Hooker was running on contact and scores from second.
You come in, you're the pinch runner, and as soon as she saw contact, she was not stopping, and Coach Birdie was sending her the entire way. Just that little bobble by Krogman, that was one that kind of fell in between pitcher and shortstop. One that Krogman maybe could have charged a little bit harder, but I think maybe she thought that Morrow was going to back up and pull that one in.
First pitch to Taylor Pitlick is fouled away, and Krogman, normally that's a ball that you would want short, right? You wouldn't want pitcher to go back on something like that. It's just not popped up enough, and normally you don't want your pitcher catching a fly ball pop up if you don't have to. Next pitch is low, throw down to second, nobody there. Goes into center field, not quite far enough as Jesse Wardlow collects and throws back into the circle. Right? What do you want your pitcher to do for defense?
Well, you know, if they're a good enough athlete, they've got to field their position, and they're not just the pitcher out there. They've got to be ready to get the comebackers, come in and field the bunts. But if that pop up, in my opinion, sitting right here, she could have gone back and pulled that one in.
Okay.
And I think all these girls are good enough athletes that's one that is right there that she could have backed up and maybe pocketed that one and ended the inning.
And it's in a state championship game where one play adds up, and it might just be 5 little things that make the difference in the game between victory and defeat.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
We'll see how that one adds up. The 1-2 coming to Pitlick is high, and the throw back in behind. Boy, that time they almost got Gorsh again. I like the aggressive defense here by Assumption. As you said, Williamsburg's daring them, and they don't want to get caught, but Assumption's not going to let them run all over. Hit in the air. This one is going to get right at the back of the infield. That time Krogman calls off Stoffragan to make the catch and collect, but the Raiders score on a couple of just big plays.
Settle in, be patient, pick your pitch, right? Go with your game plan, work hard here, okay? We'll be fine. We have plenty of time to score. Let's go. Get our runs back, 1 at a time.
It's on 3. What is this?
Well, Tyler Edwards, in his first state championship game as a head coach, he knew he wanted to be a head coach when Assumption lost last year in the title game, because he knew how the girls battled back and thought, yes, this is something I want to do, and he's getting an opportunity to coach in his first season. Inherited a heck of a good roster, and they're off to a good start this season. Now they just have to they're in that spot like they were last year. They're down and have to battle back.
And I like the calm demeanor as well, as far as let's just settle in, let's take advantage of it and take what we get.
Williamsburg beat Albia on Monday night, and Esterville Lincoln Central won in that other game, those first two games. Assumption beat Sadell, and Wahlert was over Benton Community on some big home runs in that one. And then Assumption beat Wahlert to earn their berth here, and Williamsburg sent Esterville Lincoln Central to the third place game. And in that third place game, Esterville Lincoln Central did beat Wahlert 4-2 earlier today. Here it's 2-0. As we go to the second, Williamsburg 2, Assumption 0. Due up for Assumption, it's Nidji, Odine, and Miller. First pitch from Peyton Driscoll is a ball.
And it's early, and you heard Coach Edwards say, we got a lot of time to score, so let's get them back one at a time. And I think just that thought process when you get up to the plate is, all right, let's set the table, let's get on. Let's try to get one back here if we can.
Williamsburg and Assumption played earlier this season at a tournament in Muscatine back on June 10th. The pitch from Driscoll. Swung on and missed. Now Driscoll pitched for Williamsburg. Morrow did not pitch for Assumption. And I think Coach Edwards thought that that's a little bit of an advantage for his team, as the 1-2 pitch comes from Peyton. And that misses. Why is that an advantage?
I think you settle in, you see a pitcher, and if you see enough pitches from that pitcher, you kind of get locked in. You know the rhythm, you know what you're going to see, and maybe what routine and what pitches they're going to throw.
Cue ball shot, pushed to second. Nets really tough odds there to complete that play.
Bad.
And Nidji is going to be on base.
Let's just take any question out of it.
That one had some funny spin, and it took a long time to get out there to second base. Just a tough one to field, and good hustle down the line by Nidji.
And they're going to call that an error on Metz there at second. Now, if she doesn't bobble it, it's still very, very close. 36 coming in to run, so that's Alexis Pilgrim.
36, courtesy for the catcher. 36.
So we mentioned 1 to 5 plays can make a game. Let's see if that turns out to be a game maker.
And see how they play that. See if in this situation, see if they try to move that runner down to second.
Abby Odine, not known for bunting, normally swinging away and launching pretty big shots. Bats from the left side here. First pitch strike. The 0-1 is slapped to third off the glove of one. They throw to second and get the out. So Hughes, it ricocheted off. Rich was able to then throw to a covering Metz. So 3 different players touched that on an outstanding fielder's choice.
That was a shot off the bat of Odine, and it got there in such a hurry. They were able to get the force over at second. It caromed perfectly over to Rich. Had the presence of mind to just flip it over and get the force at second.
Coaches would say I'd rather be lucky than good. Nice pitch spun in there by Driscoll for a first pitch strike. So now Callie Miller will bat with 1 out here in the top of the second. The bunt is put down. It never made it out of the batter's box. And that is a quickly called foul ball. We'll do it again.
Looked like they may have had a little bunt and run on as Odine was moving on the pitch. And as we said, we were going to see these two teams lay down the ball, play a little small ball.
The 0-2 is chopped foul just off the third base side, rolling between Hughes and Thurm, who hopped up from her catcher's position. Defense, pretty much Hughes even with the bag, Ridgway behind first, and the middle infield back deep against Miller with 2 strikes here. Chopped again, Hughes throws across the diamond to Ridgway to get the out. They look back at second, but Miller's retired. 2 away.
Big high hopper and the smart play, not trying to get the lead runner, just get the out. Go over to first, get the out, even though you put that runner down there at second.
3 for 13. Got it. 3 for 13.
I think we're going to have another runner. Allie Castle is going to come in and run. So Castle will be a pinch runner in this situation since O'Dean is a fielder on that play. So Allie Castle, who is playing left field, but she's being flexed for, will enter the game to run. The batter is Marissa Boynton. She punches it to the right side, foul down the screen.
Boynton, an 8th grader, cracking this lineup. That doesn't happen very often with this Assumption team.
The 0-1. Again hit, Ridgway can't quite get it. Can she get back to the bag in time? She does to end the inning. Nice lead 1. We've played 1.5. We are missing a person this year, and we're going to tell you about the passing of Lisa Brinkmeyer.
And that's going to put Lisa Brinkmeyer to the free throw line. She's a 70% free throw shooter. Averages 41 points a ball game.
Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union Administrator Lisa Brinkmeyer lost her battle with brain cancer in June, a battle she had been fighting for more than a year. In high school, the Hubbard-Radcliffe grad excelled in volleyball, golf, and softball. But it was basketball where she is remembered most for winning the final 6-on-6 state championship in 1993.
85-66, the final score. Hubbard-Radcliffe, your 6-on-6 champion.
Lisa knew firsthand what it meant to be an Iowa girl.
Whether you played a lot or didn't play a lot, you were still an Iowa girl. You still knew what it was like to be involved in athletics. And as I grew older and made it to state, the state basketball tournament, I realized a lot more what the Iowa girl was. I mean, with the exception of my wedding, that was one of the first times I felt like a princess, one of the few times in my life. And that is because the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union does that. And Wayne Cooley, he put the Iowa girl on the pedestal. And I thought I realized how important it was and unique it was until I went to college and I played basketball with a lot of players from around the country, different states. And I would talk about my experience and they would just kind of look at me funny like I was crazy because they weren't treated the same way. Of course, it was always neat to make it to state wherever you go, but it was just different. They weren't, celebrities because of what they'd done. They were just another basketball player. Where in Iowa, an Iowa girl stands out, and they made sure that.
Brink, as she was known, went on to play and coach at Drake University and eventually landed her position at the IGHSAU. Lisa's contributions to girls sports in Iowa, both on and off the court, is what made her the embodiment of the Iowa girl.
Back here to live action, and each time we've watched that, it gets almost tougher to see.
Yeah, it really does, and Brink was a good friend to all of us here at Iowa PBS, and the Iowa girl, she was, what she said in that is, that is the definition of an Iowa girl. She is the definition of an Iowa girl.
Peyton Driscoll puts it in play across from Miller to Sons, and there's one away.
And one thing that I do want to say, and one thing that Brink always would sign things off as with Drake alumni or whatever, you get number 20 in your program, number 1 in your hearts. And she will always be number 1 in all of our hearts.
Yes, indeed. Very well said, Laura. Thank you. And it's a first pitch strike to McKenna Hughes. Riley Metz on deck for Williamsburg, who scored 2 back in the first. Lead 2-0 here in the bottom of the second. As you now see, pretty much a full overcast day starting to settle in. It's still a beautiful day here for softball. Been all this way all week. Two and one to Hughes.
You know, you look up and down this lineup for Williamsburg, and a lot of the things that when we've talked to the players and the coaches and trying to gather a little information, every one of these, or almost every one of these players on this team are on the track team, and they all have speed, and they use it to their advantage here in the game of softball. And McKenna Hughes was a 4x100 meter champ in 2022. So that tells you that she's got some speed. She can pass the baton and turn corners and turn the bases and just get around in an inordinate amount of time. I mean, she just can get to places very quickly.
The 3-2 coming to Hughes from Morrow. Popped up on the infield. Krogman basically on the pitching rubber makes the catch as Morrow steps away to let Krogman collect it. 2 away.
You know, and that's one now, kind of the same thing, but this one was popped a lot higher. It allowed Krogman the opportunity to camp underneath that one. And you could see Morrow just saw that go up in the air. She's like, okay, I know that Krogman has that one.
First pitch to Metz is a strike. Had a chance to talk to Izzy Krogman's parents today at the hotel, and I said, loading up, tough day. They're like, yep, this one's gonna be tough. But I said, you're playing in the last game of the season on Diamond One, and they're like, yep, this will be fun. As Metz now down 0-2. The second baseman looking to extend this inning. Pitch out of the zone by Morrow. Metz also one of those track runners. And she is out on strikes to end the second. We've played 2 full innings. And Williamsburg maintains a 2-0 lead here in the Class 3A state championship game. So we look at that last pitch again, just right there at the letters, or right below the elbows, I guess, is where the zone is, and that's what it caught.
Yeah, and they've been working that outside part of the plate all game long, and started out a little wide, and now they've brought it in, and they got the call. So now they know where that zone is defined.
Let's take a look at some of our pitching up close and slowed down.
You can see with Driscoll, she's got the good extension. You can see how she turns it over to get some spin on her pitches. Good drive off the rubber. And she's just so good at mixing it up, hitting those spots.
Driscoll is going to go to Kirkwood and play softball, and so she's not done, wants to be a chiropractor.
I was just gonna, we asked her, I said, I know there were others and that you had talked to and thought that you might continue your career on. What was so different about Kirkwood? And she said there was just a sense of, she goes, I love playing fall softball. And there was a sense of fall softball there, the players that she met, coaches, and you know, we asked these players, the ones that are gonna go on, what is it that made you decide on where you're gonna go? And more often than not, we love the coaches. The coaches are great, or the facilities are really good, but I think the #1 answer is they just connect with those head coaches at those colleges. But I thought interesting, a sense of fall softball, and it is kind of an Iowa tradition. Years ago, there was a fall softball championship that was played They had 2 seasons, fall and then summer, and kind of dropped that and just kind of went to the summer. But it's a great time to play softball in the fall.
The 0-2 coming to Leah Morrow is put in play to short. Rich collects, throws across to Ridgway, and that one was not barreled by Morrow. And that's one thing Coach Birdie said. He goes, a lot of teams are not squaring up and putting the barrel on the bat on a Peyton Driscoll pitch.
When we had a good look at that one, that was moving. That ball was moving as it came in, and it broke away from Morrow, and that's why she couldn't get the barrel of the bat on it.
Catherine Snyder, the DP, freshman, bats. Coach Edwards has high hopes for her. And when a coach says a freshman and sets high expectations, and it's at Assumption, usually it's someone we see and talk about a lot for the next couple of years.
Yeah, as many trips as these 2 teams have made to the state tournament, you get to know them.
And it's lifted in the air to left, but hangs up just enough for Allie Gorch to run in and grab it. And there's 2 away, and the top of the order will come up for Jessie Wardlow. And I don't think that one was squared either, Laura. At least it didn't have the good sound to it.
No, it sounded like it was off the end of the bat, but got some good distance out of it, got some muscle into it. And if you can get some of those off the barrel of the bat, then you're going to get them to drop. You're going to find the gaps. But it's trying to solve Peyton Driscoll and figure out, can you win that game of what you're going to throw me now? And you don't want to get up there and start guessing, but you just got to look and see, figure out what part of the zone you want to attack.
The 0-1 tomorrow is a called strike, who grounded out to the pitcher in her last at-bat. Driscoll has been ahead in the count more times than not so far in this game. Hit back at Driscoll again. Ping-pongs around, throws to Ridgway. Gets Wardlow by half a step to retire the side. 1, 2, 3, go the Knights. Look at that play again. And Driscoll, she kind of told us yesterday, or back on Wednesday, how, you know, she a lot of balls put in play. She goes, I almost biffed one when it came back to me, and she waits a half a second there. She doesn't get the out.
You're right. I mean, you got speed coming down the line, and that was a shot, and you're just covering up for protection on that one, and you just want to knock it down and then find the ball and make the good throw across to first base. And she, twice, Wardlow has come right back to her, not as hard, but harder the second time.
Let's see Leah Morrow now in slow motion and see what she does, Laura.
Well, we talked about these 2 pitchers being very similar number-wise, and then as far as the pitches that they throw, the mechanics, and all of that, all very similar.
We've seen Leah pitch in this championship game before, last year against Mount Vernon, this year against Williamsburg. More times than not, you put a pin in Assumption to be in this last game of the season. That pitch misses to Shannon Finn. Finn, Rich, and Ridgway due up for Williamsburg, who hold a 2-0 lead here in the bottom of the 3rd.
You know, talking about being at the tournament and how often they get here. Champs in 2017, 18, 19, and 21. Runners-up in 2016 and 2022. So 8 straight appearances here.
On the infield, Krogman calls the pop-up and retires Shannon Finn to start the Williamsburg 3rd.
And in those 8 straight appearances, their record, counting this year, 20-3. It's a pretty good track record when you get to Fort Dodge.
They lost to Williamsburg in 2020 in the semifinals, and then lost a title game in 16 and in 22 last year to Mount Vernon. And I don't know if 2017 extends one day or two. We started on a Friday, ended on a Saturday on the famous late night game of 2017. The 1-0 is high and tight on Rich, 2-0.
Yeah, it's all coming back. I remember walking, I got more than 10,000 steps in that night. I just kept walking around the ballpark, waiting for that game to end until we could get back on. Who was that? That was Iowa City, Regina, and
Eddyville, Blakesburg, Fremont.
16 innings.
.30 coming to Carly Rich. Misses, and Rich is on board with a 1-out walk. Morrow didn't walk anybody against Sadell and only walked 2 against Wahlert. She's walked 2 so far today.
And the 1 to start the ball game has come around to score. So you don't want to put those runners on, give them an advantage because of the speed of this team.
Ridgway fouls it into the net behind. You mentioned the speed. Rich, 20 stolen bases, 37 runs on the season. Part of it is because Ridgway or Thurm knocks her in, but also because she's in scoring position.
You might see a hit and run here. You might see the runner go in motion.
Ridgway hits it high in the air to right. That is back. Oh, Dean gets turned around. They're going to wave around Rich. Ridgway into second with an RBI double, and Laura, the walk comes back to bite again and score for Williamsburg.
Morrow has not walked a lot of hitters over the course of the season or in this tournament, and you can see O'Dean just gets kind of turned around.
Thank you, sir.
Reached out to try to grab it, and Coach Birdie sending Rich the entire way as El Ridgway hustles into second base.
Ridgway gets a big old hand from the fans above the third base dugout.
Pinch running now. 15 pinch running.
So we're going to have a pinch runner for Williamsburg. It's going to be Ava Hooker again.
She throws behind.
Ridgway was the courtesy. Let's listen in to Adam Birdie.
If she starts to come at you, like step towards you, then try to get back quick. But if she just throws it from where she's at.
Will she throw it anywhere? She's try to go short soccer or anything?
I don't think so. Yeah, they haven't yet anyway.
Adam Birdie wearing his Tater Tough shirt today, which has significance for him and many in Williamsburg. For Tate Schaefer, he would have been a freshman this year, died of brain cancer. And again, softball is more than just a sport. It's a teaching moment. It's a life moment to put games into perspective. These are children's games that we are playing. Yes, enjoy the action. Have fun playing softball, but remember, there's more to life.
Yeah, there is, and everybody kind of takes a little break while we're playing these games, and then there are things that you have to deal with outside of it.
Thurman off the glove, back out at first, safe at the plate. Hooker comes around on the ground ball back to Morrow, who throw quick to Sun. Sun's turn came to the plate, as you see, but man, just blink, and Hooker scores. 4-0, Williamsburg.
Well, and with Hooker on base, she never stopped coming around third. Very close there at the plate, as Assumption did execute very well, and Sun's doing a great job of getting the out and then turning and throwing home. But the speed, again, gets there ahead of the throw.
Almost like Hooker was running on contact, even though it wasn't 2 outs.
Well, you heard him talking during the timeout there that, you know, how far should I get? And if she comes at you, meaning if Niji comes at you, where do you go? You want to go back to second, that kind of thing. And so she was going to be aggressive. Great catch out there in center field by Wardlow.
And that will end Williamsburg inning, but not before they tack on 2 more to extend their lead 4-0 here in the third. We'll come back with the middle innings from Fort Dodge after this.
The Iowa State Fair is the biggest thing in Iowa.
Explore the history of Iowa's grand tradition.
60,000 Iowans can't be wrong.
From its earliest days to the statewide celebration of today.
People have put their heart and soul to make it the best state fair in the country.
On top of all that, it's just fun. It really is.
Join us for our great state fair.
Coming to Iowa PBS August 1st and 2nd.
Couple of runs for Williamsburg in the first and third make it a 4-0 lead for Williamsburg as we go to the fourth. 2, 3, and 4 due up for the Knights. That's Izzy Krogman who's in the box now. Helen Sons and Charlotte Nidji. If anybody gets on, Abby O'Dean. Is this game playing out the way you thought?
In a way, not really. I thought it would be a little bit closer, and the thing is, Williamsburg has taken advantage of their base runners, and they've taken advantage of the walk, and that's exactly what they've done. They've gotten the runner on, they've advanced, and then they've gotten the clutch hit and the key hit, and they've taken some chances on the base paths, and it has paid off. And you know, you give Driscoll this little bit of a lead, it's going to be tough to come back on her, but you know, Assumption has to go up to the plate now thinking, all right, we need base runners. Figure out a way to get on. Figure out what you can do and be patient at the plate. And so far, we're seeing Krogman be patient at the plate, work the count in her favor. They can get a walk of their own. Maybe they can take advantage of that.
3-0 get me over strike from Driscoll. The 3-1 is hit in towards short. With it is Rich over to Ridgeway. And there's one away. The Knights have only had one base runner, and it came on an error. And then that runner was erased on a fielder's choice the next play. So Ridgeway at first makes that play as we get a look there at Rich. Driscoll pumps it in there, and I know we'll get another good look at Driscoll on her right side as we see Helen Sons, who grounded out in her last at-bat. Now that the sun is away, it's taking away a little bit of that effect of that glitter. We're going to see a lot of glitter today. Hit towards the first base side and past a diving Metz, and that's the first hit of the game for Assumption. So Driscoll retired 9 outs. Yeah, just a little too far there for Metz.
Yeah, and she was adjusted, had shifted over a little bit, playing more towards first base, but Sun's able to pound that into the ground and get enough topspin on it to sneak it into right field and get on base.
Driscoll winds and swung on and hit towards the net and foul, and the Knights look a little different here. As we were going to break, Tyler Edwards was talking to his team. It didn't look like tail chewing, but it certainly looked like he said a couple of things to get their attention in that break.
You know, and sometimes all it takes is getting one base hit, and they're starting to hit it hard now. So, you know, it takes that one base hit to kind of shake the nerves and rattle that dugout a little bit, and knowing that you're running out of outs and innings, you got to make some things happen.
Bailey Van Ossen makes the catch in right for the second out of the Knights inning here in the fourth, and that'll bring in Abby O'Dean. Yeah, we mentioned it, I think, a lot in the third because it really, there wasn't much squared up, but there's been a lot more contact. A lot of pulls, A lot of well-smacked softballs going where the pitch is if you're a righty and taking it to right.
They seemed a little more tentative in the first few innings, and now they're becoming more aggressive at the plate. A little more free swinging.
And it's the second time through the order. The 0-1 to O'Dean coming from Driscoll is low. We mentioned it briefly about the other time these two teams played, and the Knights did see Driscoll. So, you know, it's been a month and a half. And now you're like, oh yeah, that's right. That pitch does this. Oh yeah, that one does this. The 1-1. O'Dean watches it for a ball.
O'Dean kind of held her breath on that. She looked back and said, did you just say ball? Oh, good. she kind of had that. She froze for a moment.
Driscoll's pitch. O'Dean behind the third baseline. It's going to roll all the way to the tarp. They're going to send Suns to third, and now it's 2 aboard, 2 out here. And Callie Miller up now for the Knights with a chance to make this game a whole lot closer.
Boy, O'Dean just fought that one off and kind of inside out of that swing, dropped it just inside the chalk line to set up Davenport Assumption.
So Suns goes to third, O'Dean at second. I'm not sure. Coach Edwards, I think, really wanted to send Suns initially and then held up. That ball is cue ball to second. Mets over to Ridgeway, and the inning is over just like that. So the Raiders take a breath, and they get a huge out right there. And we are going to get a chance here in a moment to talk to Assumption head coach Tyler Edwards as he's putting on the headset here. So stay with us in between these two innings. As Coach Edwards is with us now. Coach, we didn't get a chance to hear what you said ahead of that, but what Laura and I were just talking about, it looked like your girls squared the pitch up, or the bat up a lot better on the pitches in that innings. Is that true?
Yeah, we're making our adjustments right now, so we're starting to get onto her. We're going to get these runs back, so we're working on it right now.
What have you seen pitching-wise from Leah?
She's settled in now. The first inning, I think she was maybe a little bit nervous, but it looks like she's settled in now. Starting to hit her spots more and spin the ball. So it's starting to jump a little bit more for us. So they're having a little more trouble. It doesn't seem like they're really squaring balls up too much on her. They've dinked a lot of balls and nothing too hard.
You having fun in this championship game on that third base side now?
Yeah, it's a good time. We need some runs. I'll have a little bit more fun once we score a few more runs.
All right, appreciate your time, Coach.
Thanks.
Thank you. That's Tyler Edwards, first year as the head coach of the Assumption Knights. He is a person who has been to this tournament as an assistant last year, and he's coming at an 81-degree day. Wind out of the north-northwest at 6 miles an hour. The Stars and Stripes standing up there. Real nice there, Clark. We got ourselves a beautiful day.
It really is. It is a perfect day to be playing softball. It's not too hot, not a ton of wind, and this is just a perfect setting for these championships here today.
Williamsburg comes to bat here in the bottom of the fourth with a 4-0 lead. First pitch for Morrow bounces away. So Miller ended that threat. Boy, and that had potential to be a huge inning all of a sudden for Assumption.
You could see the confidence come through for Assumption, and so that's going to carry over. I think the one thing here defensively is they've got to get out of this 1-2-3 to get back up to the plate.
So Pitlick fouls that one away, and it evens up the count at a ball and a strike. Taylor in her last at-bat popped up to the shortstop. Swung on right at short again. Krogman fields, throws across to Suns to retire the first Raider of the inning.
Boy, those are tough ones that come right at you. They're getting ready to hit the ground. You just got to block them and know that once you field it, you got to come up throwing quickly, and that's exactly what Krogman did. She just got down, blocked it, made a great throw across.
You must have been watching them warm up, because that is exactly what they work on at every level in the pregame, in the dirt areas between first and third. They hit balls that look exactly like that to Krogman, the ones that bounce 2 feet in front of the player. And you have to just, you have to have your hands in the right spot, or you're not gonna be playing. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, you might get one off the chin. You might get one off the shoulder. There's another hard hit.
Driscoll is retired as Callie Miller goes across to Suns, and a so far quick working inning for Leah Morrow here in the 4th. You think of the thousands of ground balls these players have taken by the time they get to this level and play, especially if you're a senior. All of those games that they have played, all these situations, it's elevated the game.
It's paying attention to detail and the love of the game and the love of wanting to play softball and play softball in the summer and being out here representing your team, playing for your high school and playing with your friends. And these young women just love it. They love going to practice. They love working. I know practice is not fun, but
whether it's 2 or 3 hours long.
2 or 3, yeah. We talked to Coach Birdie, and I said, did I hear right? Do you guys have 3-hour practices? And he said, well, sometimes.
He didn't deny it.
But, the thing that he said is, yeah, we do drills, we do hitting, we do fielding, and then we take part of the practice and we set up situations where we put varsity versus JV, and you're down 2 in the 6th inning, so how are we going to play this? And so they throw out different situations, more like a scrimmage type, and that makes practice go a little quicker.
Krogman fields the 3-hopper and retires Hughes, so very quick work in that inning. All 3 pitches stay in the infield, and Williamsburg puts a 0 up on the board here, and Coach Adam Birdie joins us now. And Coach, we were just talking about your practices. What practice has made perfect for this game so far for you?
I don't know. We practice everything, so
what are the girls
try to play a good game.
What are the girls doing well here?
We're running the bases well. Ava has really been a difference maker, being able to steal bases and just take extra bases when you wouldn't normally be able to with their speed. Janice hit a couple balls hard, got a 2-out hit in the 1st inning. That was really important to score, get the first one on the board. Other than that, just keep doing what we're doing.
What have you noticed from Peyton in the circle? We talked about with Coach Edwards right before we talked to you, and Laura and I both think it doesn't look like they're squaring up as much on Peyton's pitches. Is that accurate?
Yep, it seems like they're hitting some balls off the end of the bat, and we made most of the plays.
Hey, real quick, tell us about your shirt.
This is Tate Schaefer was, I guess, a student in Williamsburg, in 5th grade, diagnosed with cancer, died a couple years ago. Big Williamsburg family. So, everybody knows him, and we all miss him.
And he's here in this championship game. Thanks, Coach. Adam Birdie, who collected his 200th win earlier this season. And as we said, the dean of coaches in the games being played today. And what'd you hear from him?
Well, first of all, it was 200th win in the regional finals, and we mentioned that was a big game because Driscoll got her 900th career strikeout in that ball game. So, I think what he's thinking is right now everything is good. Everything is where we want it. We're hitting the ball hard. We're taking advantages on the bases, and I think that's where that has helped them build this lead. The speed of his team has helped them build the lead.
Pitch number 46 for Peyton Driscoll of the game was a strike. And that one is hit into right, and it might be close, but it gets by Van Ossen and digging down to second, so it'll be a hit with an error. Boynton advances there. And if you are Assumption, you'll take that. You get the leadoff runner on, and she gets all the way to second. So Leah Morrow, a chance to help herself here. She grounded out back in the 3rd. As at that time, Driscoll was kind of rolling pitching-wise. She'd only let one runner on at that time. She's still pitching with a 4-0 lead, hit in the air. That is in center. Coming in to make the grab is Shannon Finn. And Morrow takes the first pitch to make the first out of this 5th.
Well, they are being aggressive at the plate, and they're starting to put some pressure on this Williamsburg team. Got underneath that one. and launched it into center field, just not far enough to do anything, and an easy out.
Snyder looking to make a tournament memory. First pitch is a strike. Or a motivation. You've heard it before where somebody might not have a great game as an 8th grader or freshman or sophomore, and it kind of motivates them in the offseason. Let's see what Snyder can do here, the freshman. Shows bunt, offers, and it's a strike.
Just couldn't get that down, and you could see the adjustment defensively as they brought Rich was coming over to cover third base as they charged from the corners. So not a chance to advance that runner.
Peyton Driscoll asks time, and she gets Jenna Thurm to come out. These two have a good chemistry and have been together for a long time.
Yeah, they have been together for a really long time. I think since they said they were in 4th grade.
Yeah.
Worked together and came up through some of their travel ball teams, and they know each other very well.
Peyton said, if I shake something off, she usually knows what to put down right away because she knows my wavelength. And clearly what they just talked about work as Snyder is struck out. And that is, oddly enough, the first strikeout of the game for Snyder. Or for Driscoll as she gets Snyder.
Yeah, and that's a good call by Driscoll to say, come out, let's talk about this, because they do get the call from the dugout and the pitching coach. And the coach is in there, and if it's not something that she likes and wants to shake it off, Thurm knows exactly where to go and what pitch to call.
And let's not forget that Marissa Boynton is at second, who can also see some of the action and can signal one thing or another. 2-0 pitch to the leadoff batter, Jesse Wardlow, who's 0 for 2, 2 ground outs in this game. Wardlow, first team all-conference last year. Last year she was on the all-tournament team. Pretty good basketball player as well.
Well, all of these athletes, they're multi-sport athletes. We've talked about some of the players that have run track, and they're volleyball players, and they're golf players, and Helen Sons is a tennis player. I mean, you've got everybody does something a little different, but they're multi-sport athletes. They're all involved. And I asked somebody the other day, I said, how's the time management? And they go, it's really, it's helping us become better people and for down the road when we get to college and later on in life, learning how to manage our time and be productive.
And they have to go to class too.
Yeah, they
have to learn how to juggle that.
Little thing about going to class and getting good grades.
We're good. You want to talk to him?
Going out quickly for a conference, Hughes first was in the circle with Driscoll, and now Thurm comes out as they cover the glove, or their mouth with the glove. And here comes Thurm as Daryl Erickson says, all right, let's go. We got to keep the pace of play moving.
I'm good, thank you. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
The 3-2 coming. Foul and out of play.
You're welcome.
As we get a look at the backside of the complex there, you can see quite a few fans there in the stands for both of these teams. Williamsburg more in the white and red, as you see there, whereas the Assumption fans, their shirts this year are black. And that misses, so ball 4. Wardlow is aboard with a 2-out walk. So that puts 2 on, 2 out. Same situation as last inning, but a different part of the order up. This is the number 2 hitter, Izzy Krogman. Krogman 0 for 2 in this game so far, grounded out to short, and I'm guessing that's what Williamsburg would like now, to induce one of those ground balls.
And that was a veteran at bat right there by Wardlow. I mean, she did such a good job of fouling off some pitches, taking some pitches, got it full, and was not too anxious to swing at that rise ball and let it slide by for the walk.
The 1-0 misses. And now Driscoll had been ahead a lot of these batters in the first, second, and third inning, kind of a mix there in the fourth. But in the fifth, she's been pitching uphill. And that one misses as well. 3-0, and she's a strike, or 3-0. She's a strike away from loading the bases here with Helen Sons up. This game can change real quickly, Laura.
It can, and they're doing it all right now with 2 outs.
Thurm was set up out. That ball tailed back in. I don't know if that was a ploy.
That just shows you how good Thurm is back behind the plate to be able, she's thinking out on the outer part. And they go inside, they come inside again, get that, well, the outer half of the plate. It wasn't so much right down the middle.
Oh,
but
it looked pretty close to being down the middle. Yeah, I was with you on that at first. And then I'm like, wait a minute, that's the middle of the plate.
Now you got runners going, full count, 2 out.
3-2 swung on, 2 short across to first. And for the third time this game, Krogman grounds out. That ends a rally opportunity. Oh, big out for Williamsburg here in the fifth to erase the 2 runners. Man, Krogman gets down the line in a hurry.
She really does. I mean, she hustles down, digging hard, knowing that if she can beat that out, she keeps that inning alive.
Let's go to Tim Fitzpatrick as he is going to join us in singing.
5th inning stretch. Join with me in singing Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Let me hear ya. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Are you singing? Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I ever get back, for it's root for the. If they don't win, it's a shame, for it's 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
Thank you, Mr. Fitzpatrick. I believe, I could be wrong here, Chuck Schaffner on organ?
Yeah, Chuck Schaffner on the organ. Didn't realize that he was so good at that.
Multi-talented folks up there in the box. First pitch to Riley Metz is a ball here in the fifth. 9-1-2, popped up into the net. And it'll even up the count at 1-1. Leo Morrow going to pitch at St. Ambrose. Stay there in Davenport, just move down Locust Street.
Yeah, Coach Edwards thinks she's probably, in his mind, one of the best pitchers in the state, and she's proven that throughout her career.
That one is well hit to left center. It's going to bounce off the wall. It's going to be a double on a slide by Riley Metz. And I was just about to say, Coach has been looking for a big hit from Riley Metz. Says she is due for a big hit, and she delivers.
She did, and she made the adjustment at the plate. Went down and got it, got the end of the bat out on it, drove it right into the gap.
Well, top of the order, Shannon Finn. She was 2 for 3 against ELC. Batter was out. Said she was out of the box when she hit it. So there'll be no moving up of Metz. She'll have to go back to third. Finn is out on the call as Daryl Erickson made that call right away. And you can hear the audio there on the replay, or on the play, from the umpire.
Yeah, right away, they were right on top of that. But that's what Williamsburg has done the entire tournament, is lay that bunt down. And at one point, I think it was in the quarterfinals, they laid down 5 straight bunts. And were able to execute that and push runs across.
The 1-0 from Morrow. Upstairs. And Coach Purdy says it's not like we were bad at it, we just weren't good at it. And he says, I don't think there was anything magical that clicked. It's just,
it's practice.
It just practice.
Yeah.
It just, something finally stuck. The 2-0. And that was one of the first things you said to me when I saw you on Wednesday was, look at all these teams that bunt. This year, a lot more were bunting. Any reason why?
You know, asking some of the coaches if it bunt had come back into favor.
Hit in the air towards Ordine and right. That'll be probably enough to get the runner up. And tagging from second to third is Metz. So she's now at third with 2 out on the fly ball by Rich.
Again, taking advantage of the speed on the out to right field. They're taking some chances. Odine makes a good throw, just a little up the line. But going back to your question, you know, yes, we are seeing more bunting, and coaches are saying because the pitchers are getting so good, we're seeing a lot of rise ball pitchers. We're seeing a lot of velocity from these pitchers, and it's hard to score runs. So how do you manufacture runs? How do you get runs across? Put it in play. Make them field it. Make them come in and have to converge on the ball, make that play. If you have a runner on third, my goodness, we've seen Williamsburg squeeze runners home a ton here in this tournament. And so I think we're going to see more of that because these pitchers are getting more and more refined and better with their pitches.
Ridgway punches it to right. Stoffregan over to Sons to end the inning. So Williamsburg leaves a runner on base, but they still hold a 4-0 lead. And they did it a number of ways, including back in the first inning. They had a walk that came around to score on an RBI double by Jenna Thurm as that thing went into left, and then that was allowing 1 run to score. Thurm went down to second on the throw, and then back in the third, a couple of bobbles there allowed for another run to score on Gorsh's hit, and then Ridgway had a double in the third that scored Carly Rich. And again, just the ball kind of hanging around, just enough bang-bang plays to score the runner there, and that's how we are at this point, 4-0 as we go to the 6th for Davenport Assumption. And that ball came straight up as the pitcher comparison.
And that's what we talked about at the beginning of the ball game is what these pitchers coming into this ball game, number 1 and number 2 in 3A ERA. But look, those strikeouts very close in comparison. Opponent's batting average very close. Walks very similar. And here in this ball game, it has been the walks that have come back to hurt Assumption. And to see those low numbers, that is something that has not happened a lot this season for either of these teams, but Williamsburg taking advantage of what was given to them.
I like how you're such a pro as the ball hits the monitor that you were supposed to read that off of, and you just calmly picked it up and read it off, but I know you had them in your head too, so great job, Laura.
I didn't even realize that ball was coming at us until it was too late. Thank goodness these nettings are very strong.
Helen Sons leads off for Davenport Assumption here in the 6th. Driscoll's pitch is low. The netting, a couple of years old here, went from the chain link fence, and you just hope the netting, there's the look at the inside the Assumption dugout as they are really trying to rally this team. Got to get some base runners on. This time they got to be able to push them across. 3 hits, 0-3-0 for Assumption, 4-4-2 for Williamsburg.
We've seen Driscoll over these last couple innings get behind in the count. Assumption is getting those runners on base. They haven't been able to get that clutch hit that they need.
Sons, the team leader in RBIs with 35. She'll take a home run, but to just get the 1 with nobody on base right now, and she really wanted to bat that last inning with a runner on, but when that ground ball ended the rally, Williamsburg dodged the bullet and faces Sons with the bases empty. The 3-2 pitch. It's high, so Sons is going to be on board. to start the 6th. So for the 2nd straight inning, the Knights have put the leadoff runner. Adam Birdie makes his way to the circle. Guess what? We're going to listen in.
Yeah, the runner at first, not fast, okay, but we field the ball first, make a throw, just right at him, okay? Don't worry about the zone, just make good pitches, okay? Here we go. Come on, get outs, get outs.
Did he come out early? Did you expect him to come out that early in that situation? They've been in more dire straits earlier.
No, I don't. I think you don't want it to get out of hand. And I think that he has seen that Driscoll has gotten behind in the count with a lot of hitters. And so I think it's a good little stoppage of play for him to come out and just say, hey, throw strikes. Just throw strikes. We'll play defense. We can just get outs. We can go ahead and give up a run.
Charlotte Midgie takes the first pitch, lines it up to center, pushes Sons up to second. Midgie smoked that thing right up the middle.
Assumption has been knocking and knocking and knocking at the door. They have not been able to get that door to open up. And this is the best chance that they have had the entire ball game to be able to push some runs across.
And we are going to have a courtesy runner coming in. Will be Alexis Pilgrim. So Lexi goes to first in place of Charlotte Midgie, who will head back into the dugout and put the catching gear on. And she hopes she has to take it off before she has to go back out to catch, which means the Knights will have batted around. First pitch to Odine is a strike.
That was a really good location of that pitch, and Odine knew it too. She couldn't pull the trigger on it and probably didn't want to make an attempt on it.
Odine, who will continue her career at Southeastern Community College in Burlington. Last year, Coach Ron Farrell talked about how Odine's confidence picked up as the year went on, and she just got to be she was clutch for them towards the end of the season, and that's kind of carried over to this year for Abby. She bats here on an 0-2 count with 2 on. Hit well into center, and it's going to be over to her right, a couple of steps, Shannon Finn, to record the first out of the 6th.
Well, he hit it on a line as well. And you're right, her confidence level had grown from the end of last year into this season. And I think this team is starting to settle in. It's getting late, but they're settling in, and they're starting to make some noise.
Callie Miller bats now. Miller 0 for 2, a couple of ground outs in this game.
Been steady for them all season, has come through with a lot of clutch hits.
Right up to the middle. Driscoll fields her position and doubles off Pilgrim. Again, just when you think Williamsburg is about to have the door bust open, they slam it shut and end the rally. They go to the bottom of the 6th, leading 4-0. Crowd loves it. Look at that play.
You get in a little bit of trouble, and the defense picks you up. In this case, the pitcher picks herself up. Got into a little bit of a jam, but right there, she's had some shots that have come back at her, and she's been able to field everything cleanly.
You know, Peyton Driscoll, haven't even really had a chance to mention a couple of things for her that are of importance before we get away on her pitching. And you've talked about all those stats and all those things. She is here. A couple of family things I need to mention. Everybody knows I love to talk family. Her younger sister, Kenzie, is the manager, and they're rooming together here at State. And she's got a younger sister, Miley. And a shout out to her dad, who coached her in AAU along with Scott Metz. So she says her dad, Chad, is her biggest supporter. I think Chad's nervous right now.
I think all parents are nervous right now. You know, a lot of my friends who had their daughters and sons play in all the way down to Little League. Parents get nervous all the time.
Yes, they do, Laura.
Doesn't
for whatever
matter.
the activity.
I was going to say, it doesn't matter if it's sports. It could be anything. It could be if you're in show choir or if you're in the school play or whatever it might be. Parents are, everybody gets a little nervous. And rightly so. Why not? It's a good nervous. It's a fun nervous.
It is a good nervous in that position right now. And yeah, there's been some times you're like, okay, come on. Just do what you need to do. There's nothing I can say or do right now as a parent. It's up to you, and it's your moment, and I'll let you have it. The 1-2 coming. Change up. Ground to Krogman. Scoops great play across to Sons to get the first out.
Krogman has been so solid over there at short. Another short hopper as she charges that. Comes on strong, fields it cleanly, and gets the out.
Allie Gorsch to bat, the sophomore. A lot of sophomores mixed in with this senior class for Williamsburg. And let's just say a team might get new uniforms next year. If you're Williamsburg, do you think they go with the long pants next year?
Well, we asked players and coaches alike, where was the tradition of the long pants and when did that happen?
Krogman on the pop-up to retire Gorsch.
And I think Coach Birdie said that might have been his second group of seniors that decided, all right, we want to choose these uniforms. He goes, great, I don't care what you do. As long as you're comfortable, as long as you feel good and you play well, that's fine. We can go with long pants. And then we asked, well, will that continue? And I don't know who we asked. And they said, well, El Ridgeway kind of liked the long pants. And, well, she's a senior and she's graduates. So maybe next year might be something a little different.
I think that sophomore class might have something to say. As Taylor Pitlick comes in, who's 0 for 2, looking for her first hit of this game. Bats with 2 outs here in the 6th. In that DP position, Driscoll waits on deck. If you're Peyton, you think you want one more at bat. And she might just get it as the count goes to 3-0 on Taylor Pitlick, the sophomore. The pitch from Morrow is a strike. The white W for Williamsburg, which if you've traveled I-80 between Des Moines and Iowa City, you've seen the signs for Williamsburg if you're on your way to Fort Dodge, and that is swung on and hit over the head of O'Dean. It's going to go all the way to the wall. Digging in for second, Taylor Pitlick with a double with 2 outs here in the 6th. Right field has been a popular place for a lot of hits by the Raiders.
It sure has, and she was able to get a hold of that one, turn on it, and send it. And that was just a nice, easy, compact swing that got over the head of O'Dean. Got out there in a hurry, and you can see how quickly Pitlick got down to second.
Taylor Sanchez to run for Pitlick there at second.
12 is in for 8 running, 12 for 8.
And we have a conference in the circle there with Davenport Assumption, a familiar face to this tournament, Allie Timmons.
Yeah, Allie Timmons pitched for Davenport Assumption, went on to initially the University of Iowa and then transferred to Drake University, and is kind of become their pitching coach and has worked with these pitchers and you can see made that circle visit there, and she just has done a really nice job of kind of honing all these pitchers. She was really strong and really good in her day and still is, and a lot of these pitchers for Assumption work with Trent Rubley, who's a pitching coach, and they've all kind of come up through that system. And I know Coach Edwards said, you know, she sits right next to me on the bucket in that dugout, and we talk about things and we talk about strategy.
They throw down to second, now to third, and Sanchez is going to be there. So now Driscoll can help herself. on an 0-2 pitch and get one more run before she goes out to try to get the final 3 outs.
They forced the issue on that. They got that big lead, got out right around halfway between second and third, forced the throw, and able to take advantage of it, getting to third.
Suns makes the grab in foul territory, and it's down to the final 3 outs of this contest. Davenport Assumption, as they huddle up, we'll listen in.
Hey, remember our first meeting? I played that audio of the last outs of the game, right? We need to change that story now, okay? Let's play the audio for next year of you guys coming back and winning this game, okay? You can do it. Don't give up. We can still do this, okay? Come on. Have confidence.
It's not over, guys. It's not over yet.
Have confidence.
FSU on 3. What is FSU?
The final 3 when we return.
I am acutely conscious of the fact that I am but one member of that vast army of hunger fighters, and so I want to share not only the present honors, but also the future obligations with all my companions in arms. For the Green Revolution has not yet been won.
Sunday at noon.
The Iowa State Fair is the biggest thing in Iowa.
Explore the history of Iowa's grand tradition.
60,000 Iowans can't be wrong.
From its earliest days to the statewide celebration of today.
People have put their heart and soul to make it the best state fair in the country.
On top of all that, it's just fun. It really is.
Join us for our great state fair.
Coming to Iowa PBS August 1st and 2nd.
Coach Adam Birdie says, don't worry about what the other team is doing. Just take care of yourself. Williamsburg is seeking that elusive first title. They're 3 outs away as we begin the 7th inning here from Fort Dodge. This is Class 3A state softball in Fort Dodge, Iowa. The last game of the season in 3A has been a 4-0 contest. And Williamsburg leads. It's up to 7-8-9 for Assumption. Marissa Boynton, who's up 2-0 in the count now. Leah Morrow on deck and Catherine Snyder. If you're the Knights, you have to roll that lineup over to give yourself a chance. That pitch is rolled in there. And the Knights are about a pitch away from the 3rd consecutive inning of putting the leadoff batter on after struggling to get runners in the first 3 innings.
Yeah, they've been able to dodge the bullet over the last 3 innings because of the good defense. And you heard Coach Edwards, kind of that little motivational speech about don't give up, come back. Let's change the tune of the final audio from last year.
3 balls, no strikes.
Let's talk about having an audio of the Knights coming back.
Boynton had a hit back in the 5th and then advanced to second on an error. She'll bat now after the strike from Driscoll. The 3-1 is ball 4.
Calm, cool, and collected, the 8th grader leading off this all-important 7th inning as we get another circle visit for Coach Birdie in Williamsburg.
Just challenge them, okay? Right at them. Okay, they won't be able to hit enough to get 4 runs. Okay, we'll make the plays. Okay, here we go. Finish off, let's go.
I think he's right, at least so far, but here's the thing. Assumption doesn't, you can't keep them down 3 times. On the 3rd time, 4th time through that order, you would think. So if you're Williamsburg, you really have to take care of 7, 8, 9, buckle down here.
Right, you like the confidence though too. You know, just challenge them. The defense will back you up.
That pitch is inside to Leah Morrow, who wants to pitch 1 more inning at least here. The runner at first is Boynton. That one catches the plate. Hit up the middle, and that's going to get through for a base hit. So the Knights are going to have 2 on, nobody out. And Catherine Snyder, the freshman, coming up. Sometimes, Laura, the biggest heroes come from the unexpected. We're going to have a runner for Assumption, Maddie Edwards.
Nope. Number 1, courtesy for your pitcher.
It'll be a courtesy runner. So Boynton will go to second. Edwards will be at first. Snyder, who's 0 for 2. Fly ball in the 3rd, strikeout in the 5th. That was Driscoll's only strikeout of the game.
Well, we knew these two teams could hit the ball, and we talked about how both these pitchers are strikeout pitchers, but these lineups are pretty tough. And it took a while for Assumption to get things rolling. They've had their opportunities the last couple of innings. This, again, might be the best shot to try to push some runs across, change the momentum, get it back in their dugout.
As we push past 4 o'clock here. Does the clock strike 12 on Assumption's comeback? Fouled into the net. And now 2 strikes on Snyder.
Well, again, that ball was dancing, and that came in and just kind of worked in on the hands of Snyder.
The largest deficit overcome in a title game is 4 runs. The last time who did it? Ground ball to first. Ridgway's going to step on it, throw to first, look to second, and record the first out. The last team to overcome 4-run deficit in 21 was Assumption. They were down 5-1 to Mount Vernon in the 5th, and they won that game 10-6. Remember that one?
I do remember that one. That was a wild one. You're exactly where you want to be. You top your order up, 2 runners in scoring position. See if Wardlow can come through with a clutch hit.
They need her right now. The runners are moved up to second and third. Boynton at third. Edwards at second. Wardlow 0 for 2, couple of ground outs and a walk. Needs to reach base here. 1 out in the 7th. The pitch fouled into the screen on the left side. Now Driscoll digging in, trying to find that extra gear here to get home.
And you're willing to give up that run to get the out to get you a little bit closer.
The bunt is shown. We're going to switch softballs. Peyton Driscoll, her mother, and also Carly Rich's mother on the 95 state team for Williamsburg. Looking to do a little legacy work here in Williamsburg school history. The first pitch, or the next pitch to Wardlow is out for a strike. 2-2.
You know, some of the players said the interest in this team picked up back in 2021. People were coming to the ballpark early. They were coming as early as 9 a.m. setting up lawn chairs to watch this team play.
Lifted in the air towards left. In initially is the left fielder, Gorch. And she catches it, and Boynton has to stay at third as it wasn't deep enough. And Wardlow is the second out of the inning, and it's up to Izzy Krogman. Krogman has made some great plays in the field. Has grounded out to short every single time at bat. She is looking to flip that script right here and extend this contest. Williamsburg 4, Assumption nothing, but the Knights have 2 on, 2 out here in the 7th. That one is low for a ball. Izzy has only struck out once all season. Great plate discipline. What can she do here? Is low.
And she's a contact type of hitter, so that's what you want at the plate. Somebody that can put the ball in play. maybe find the opening on the infield.
As we say in kid ball, walk's as good of a hit right in this situation if you're Assumption. But Driscoll comes back with the strike at the knees. The 2-1. Hit in the air, up. Gorsh goes back, has the catch, and for the first time in school history, Williamsburg wins a state softball title. The year is 2023.
You get that celebration right there in the circle. And tell you what, they dodged several bullets. Assumption tried to come back. They put runners on. They threatened multiple times. And the pitching and the defense of Williamsburg able to work around the base runners, didn't give up a run, and able to win a state title.
Knights left 8 on base. Comes back huge in this contest. So,
yeah, opportunities that they could not cash in on, and you look back, and Williamsburg was able to get runners on. They took some chances. They were aggressive on the base paths, and they made those things count. They were going to make Assumption make those plays, but they got some timely hitting, really good base running, able to push those runs across early and then add a couple more midway through.
So Williamsburg and Assumption shake hands after this classic game. Championship in 3A. Williamsburg wins both meetings this year. Fans chatting Adam Birdie. He won 200 games this season. And now we're going to meet the all-tournament teams and a trophy presentation. And the handing of the pink shirts is underway. Coach Birdie in that faded hat. That's lucky hat. He might just put that in glass.
I don't know. I think he thinks there's probably a lot more wins left in that faded hat.
For our award ceremony, presenting the Class 3A All-Tournament team medals is Farm Bureau Representative Andy Hill. Here is your Class 3A All-Tournament team for 2023. From Williamsburg, Shannon Finn. From Assumption, Leah Morrow. From Wahlert Catholic, Ruth Tauber. From Esterville, Lincoln Central, Tatum Dunleavy. From Wahlert Catholic, Tyranny Teslo. From Esterville, Lincoln Central, Riley Yeager.
Y-A.
From Williamsburg, Carly Rich. From Assumption, Callie Miller. From Williamsburg, Peyton Driscoll. From Assumption Catholic, Helen Sons. And your Class 3A All-Tournament Team Captain for 2023. From Williamsburg, Jenna Thurm.
Jenna Thurm the all-tournament team captain. She had a double in the first. That opened up the gate as the Raiders were able to score first. She had a big tournament, good enough to be.
Yeah, 3 RBIs in the semifinals, 5 overall, added another one here in this ball game. Did a great job of catching Driscoll, commanding the field. Just was a leader out there and all-tournament team captain.
Great memory for the senior and the great memory for those ladies on the screen right now.
We did see a lot of great performances throughout the entire tournament, and you know, the big thing we've asked every player about the pink shirt. That's become a tradition, and that's become the goal, to be able to wear that pink shirt.
Provided by Iowa Farm Bureau, title sponsor of the Girls Athletic Union. Presenting awards are members of IGHSAU Board of Directors: Travis Fleshner, Ron Fodness, Jim Beamer, Russ Adams, and Jennifer Donnells. Congratulations to the runners-up in Class 3A, head coach Tyler Edwards and the Assumption Knights on an outstanding 2023 softball season. And now, Raiders, will you please complete your bracket? And presenting your 2023 Class 3A State Softball Champions, head coach Adam C. Bertie and the Raiders from Williamsburg.
They hoist the trophy, pink shirts in tow, and now it's time to celebrate the first championship in school history in the sport of softball for Williamsburg. Laura Leonard, this one we thought would be pitching, was a lot of little things today.
It was, and the pitching was still very, very good, and it's kind of what we thought it was going to be, but just some little things, the base on balls, they taking advantage of those base runners, running the bases hard and not ever looking back. They just kept their head down. Coach Bertie would wave them in. They never had a second thought about it, and so they were the aggressor here in this ball game. They got that early lead and they made it stand up.
Made the plays when it counted, and that's what it takes to hoist the state championship trophy. They're going to celebrate in Williamsburg, and a few more hugs in Davenport tonight. This is game 1 of our triple header of free sports coverage on Iowa PBS. Williamsburg, your state champions in 3A. Our middle game is coming up at the top of the hour. For everyone here at Iowa PBS, we thank you for watching. We will see you in a little bit, and congratulations to Williamsburg, Class 3A state champions for 2023.
Funding provided by Musco Lighting, the sports lighting specialist, providing lighting systems for you, your project, and your community.
The Pella Rolscreen Foundation is a proud supporter of Iowa PBS. Pella Windows and Doors strives to better our communities and build a better tomorrow.
And by Fareway Meat and Grocery. For more than 80 years, Fareway has been proud to be an active part of the communities we serve. Learn more at fareway.com.
With our Iowa roots and Midwestern values, Farmers Mutual Hale is committed to offering innovative farm insurance for America's farmers, just as we have for 6 generations. Farmers Mutual Hale, America's crop insurance company.